friends, Coach Bob with you today, and yes, today I am joined by the effervescent Coach Vic.
Coach Vic.
Coach Vic.
I'm here.
So how you doing?
I'm doing better. It's been what, 10 days?
Yeah.
Basically?
Yeah.
I'm up, out of bed, moving around.
So when you're watching this video, it's Saturday morning, so this is Friday. Friday. So, Coach Vic, I'm gonna ask you a question. How have you managed to get through the last 10 days?
Well, in the infamous words of Coach Bob, I'll say 1 mile at a time.
Okay, well, what would you have said if it wasn't the way I talk when we get on a motorcycle?
1 day at a time.
One
One moment at a time.
Oh, so you even broke it down one moment at a time.
Or 1 step at a time.
So why such small fractions of
Well,
life?
right now, when you're in a situation like this, surgery for example, you got to take it 1 moment at a time, because you know it's going to be good one moment and bad another moment, or semi-good another moment. You have no idea what it's going to be like.
So you just savor each moment, and
Just
if it's bad, if it's bad, you get through that one moment, hoping the next
yes,
one will be good.
It's going to get good eventually. It's going to get bad again. It's going to get good again, but it's going to change. Yeah, you have to just get through it.
So you're saying, well, what the heck does this have to do with motorcycle riding?
Because Coach Bob does motorcycle videos.
That's what I'm gonna do. So
and he's doing one now. So look at there. Told you he'd do a video.
all right, well, let me get on the CanAm Spyder and we're gonna do a little chatting. And Coach Vic is gonna hang out and drink her a cup of
Hot tea with my moose cup
oh,
from Maine.
hold that up close so they can see that. That's your little Maine cup.
That's my souvenir from Maine.
Well, they can't see it if you keep wiggling around.
Oh. Go and do your video, Coach Bob.
Okay. Mile at a time, how does that apply to anything, man? You know, we talk about life and all the things that Coach Vic and I have been through and all the things we've been going through with her breast cancer treatments and all that. By the way, if my voice sounds a little laryngitis wise, I do have going through a little thing of laryngitis. It's kind of crazy, you know, the old voice. Sometimes you just wake up. I think it could be due to the pollen. There's pollen out big time, and saw a big cloud of green coming down the road yesterday when the wind was blowing. So, and I was out, you know, in a track yesterday and all that, and so I think that's probably all it is. So if my voice sounds a little raspy, please forgive me. All right, so 1 mile at a time, you know. The question that has come up a lot here lately is, you know, what the expectation of touring is, you know, and I want you to, you know, write down below what your expectation of touring is. There, you know, there's a lot of different philosophies out there on how to do this thing, you know, the old touring thing. And I'm not talking about just going out for 2 days on a 300-mile trip, although I think that's a lot of fun. I think those trips are just probably the easiest and the most fun that you can possibly have, because you can really plan around the weather and you can plan things out a little more, you know, with greater precision, so that you don't have challenges on the trip. So let's talk about how the philosophy of touring, you know, the Zen and the art of touring. Make sure I don't get run over by an 18-wheeler getting out here on the old interstate today. I got some things I got to do today, so anyway. So touring, man. Touring, when I'm talking about touring, I'm talking about a minimum of, we'll say, 2,000 miles. I think 2,000 miles would be a good tour, because if you're doing even 400 miles a day, that's a 5-day trip. Most people are doing that 400 to 500 mile day, so I think a good 5-day trip, and with a 0 day in the middle, would be like a perfect tour. You get to ride, you get to put in some miles, and it's sweet. Now, how does that break up, and how do you feel about things, though? And if you're on a long tour, there are going to be days that fatigue sets in. Now, I follow a lot of other YouTubers. I do. I love, 602 Nord, Purple on 3, John and Miriam, Kraken's Garage. I follow these folks, and they're all what I would consider my peer group. These are the folks that we, our channels are large enough to be doing something, but small enough to still have that personal feel, that you're not, too big for your britches, and I think that another guy I follow, and I highly suggest you watch his content because I really love him, is Moto Mingy. Moto Mingy is really, really good. He rides a Goldwing, and he just does weekly moto vlogs and shares his thoughts about everything from are moto vloggers stupid to, bugs are loud, whatever. It's really good. He's entertaining. He's got a great way of putting things, but the philosophy when you're going 1 mile at a time, every time you go on a big tour, I want you to live in the moment. Enjoy the 1 mile at a time methodology. We really do live by that. Anyone who's watched our tours, which we have 2 of them, we have the one from East to West Coast and then the one from Key West to Maine. Both were a lot of fun. If you haven't watched them, please look down below, go to the channel, subscribe to it, look at the playlist, and look at the California Dreamin' trip or East to West Coast, and look at the Key West to Maine trip. I think you'll get a lot out of that, especially if you're looking at touring in the future and what you have these dreams of touring and making those big trips, whether it be on a 2-wheel format or a 3-wheel format, is a very little difference to anyone who's out in the environment. I honestly think if you were driving a slingshot, or if you were in a Jeep without a top on it, a lot of it's going to feel the same way. It's going to be exhausting. It is very tiring. The noise associated with being in the outdoors, the heat, the cold, the rain, the dry, the snow, the ice, whatever is your limiting factor. We think about the elements a lot like that, but we also don't think about fatigue, a sore butt, a sore back, poor posture, right? Lack of physical fitness, lack of emotional fitness, preparing for a tour, because it all does, it takes every bit of that. And anyone who's ever gone for the long rides, they're fun. They are a lot of fun, and I love doing it. I would travel, honestly, if we had the resources, which I guess technically we do, and if Coach Vic were willing, and technically she isn't, I'd probably be on the road 8 to 9 months a year. I do 2 months on, 1 month off, and I think that would be a nice thing. And I think that a month off, I would be itching to get back on the road. But in life, we look at the idea of tomorrow. What is tomorrow going to hold? I'll share a personal story about Coach Vic, and this applies definitely to touring. A few weeks ago, when she was, well, it's been a little longer than that now, but when she was diagnosed with breast cancer again, and all of this was going on, we're in the car, and I'm like, well, you want to talk about it? Her response to me was, no, I don't want to talk about it. Talking about it will allow it to rob 1 minute of my life, and I will not allow this to rob any more time than it is going to. I will not give it power over my mind. I will not give it the power over my spirit. I will live in this moment, and no matter what the future holds, no matter how good or bad it is, I'm going to put pieces of the puzzle together 1 moment at a time while I fulfill God's calling for me in this life. And that's what she did. And she goes, so if I need to talk about it, Bob, I'll tell you. If you need to talk about it, call somebody. She is absolutely serious about not wasting her life and not throwing it away on worries and woes. And Likewise, when you're touring, it's that same monster. Of course, the outcome of that monster is dramatically different. You know, you're not talking about, you know, life and death and your health, but you're talking about your enjoyment and how you can get through a day. The easy days, you don't even need to address. Easy days are, well, they're easy. Anyone can do them. Regardless of the distance, if you have the perfect climate and beautiful roads and no traffic, and you just have that perfect touring day where everything goes right, and those days are magical, they're wonderful. But in life, you have to realize that most of your touring days are not going to be that. They're going to be enjoyable, they're going to be fun, they're going to be magical, but they're also going to be fraught with challenges. I was going to go over it, this guy's a little close, so I'm not going to. They're going to be fraught with challenges, and those challenges are very, very real. You're going to get up and it's going to be cold, and you know that you have a place you need to get. Either you've made a reservation, or you have people waiting on you, or you just have set a goal in your mind and you're going to do it. You're just going to do it. So getting on the road and doing that when it's cold and it's forecast for rain, you know you're going to have to endure it. Don't ride your morning thinking about the rain that's coming at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You're prepared for it. You have your rain gear. What you do is you live in the moment. If the weather's beautiful right there, right then, you ride in that moment and you love it and you savor it. When the rain comes, you put on your rain gear and you focus on the task at hand. Am I putting myself or my riding partner in a life-endangering scenario? Am I riding beyond my limitations, living in that moment? Don't freak out, you don't panic. You do it, you deal with it. When the rain stops, you take that rain jacket off and you don't worry about how bad it was or how cold you were. You now are living in that moment. The rain has stopped and the clouds are clearing. And what a beautiful metaphor for the closure of a great day on the road. You know, the 1 mile at a time philosophy is nothing new. Again, you know, when you start talking about biblical principles, Jesus said that yesterday is dead. Tomorrow you are not promised. Today has enough evil of its own. Live in the moment. Live in the moment. 1 mile at a time. Well, I hope that if you're planning a tour, that this sort of information interests you. It interested me before I started touring to get the ideas, the mindsets of the individuals that were riding, because that mindset saved me a lot of trouble. There's a guy that has a lifetime of followers. I'll never have the amount of subscribers that he has. The Macedon Flyer, great information. Teapot one, both these guys are English. Their information on riding and touring is amazing. I learned a lot. In fact, I will say this. The companionship that I saw in John and Miriam on the Spyder is part of what made me decide to buy a Spyder. You know, Coach Vic, I wasn't sure that she was going to be in on it. I wasn't sure that once I got the Spyder, even though she wanted it, she said she would go. Is it going to be a one-off tour? And I saw John and Miriam and their relationship, and I said, you know what, that's a beautiful relationship there. I'm going to get this thing. I'm going to go ahead and take the plunge. And so I took the plunge, and we lived in the moment, every moment together. You know that we did a lot of travels without a trailer. I had to carry Coach Vic, physically carry her around in and out of motels, in and out of restaurants. And that's what we did till we could get a trailer. We lived in the moment. We didn't worry about, well, what if when we get there it's a quarter of a mile that we have to walk to get in there? How is old Coach Bob going to be able to carry her for a quarter of a mile? You know how I do it? One step at a time, baby. That's how I would get her in there, because I guarantee you this. We were not going to let anything slow us up. 1 mile, one step, one smile, one hug, one handshake, one friendship, 1 mile at a time in everything that you do. All right. Well, I hope this little Zen and the art of touring lesson has served you well. That is certainly my intent. Be sure and subscribe to the channel. Give it a thumbs up if you haven't done that yet, and turn on those notification bells so you won't miss any of my engaging content. Oh, that sounded awfully hoity-toity if you ask me. But anyway, what we're going to do is I've got some things I got to do, but I will talk to you soon. So do me a favor, go out, buy the motorcycle of your dreams, eat right, take care of yourself, and remember, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. I'll see you on the road real soon.